Hey, good evening everyone. I'm doing a video about the soft-shelled turtle aquarium enclosure that I came up with. I checked out a lot of YouTube videos, Pinterest, different websites and stuff like that, and the only thing that I could find were pedestals or where someone put a brick inside their aquarium to prop up a basking tank or a basking platform of some sort. And what I did is I came up with this idea to use restaurant grade food trays as a hanging basket type thing in the aquarium. So what this is a food tray. It's 24 inches by 2.5 inches deep and 8 and 12 inches wide. So what this does is it fits just inside your aquarium. So it's exactly the same width as the aquarium, and it just hangs on the edge of the aquarium with these little coat hanger style clips. So they're very inexpensive, almost free, and they hang off the corners of your aquarium so that they're much stronger than suction cups or anything like that. In the beginning, I used suction cups in my aquarium, and they would hold for a couple of days, and then I would come home and they would have slid down, and in my food platform and everything would be laying on the bottom. So I ended up coming up with this idea of using these coat hanger style clips, and you can make them at different lengths. Like this is probably 3 inches, so 2 inches under the water, and then it fades to a shallower end, just flush even with the water. And then when you put the sand in there, you can actually make a very shallow area dry if you would like, or things like that. There's my catfish that hangs upside down. He's kind of weird. But it allows you to have a completely functioning aquarium. There's my soft-shell turtle Kino. She's about 1.5 years old. So it allows for some neat areas to have a regular aquarium and a turtle enclosure in the same place. So that's pretty cool. We're gonna check this out, and I'm gonna feed her since I just got home. She hasn't been out much today. So, but that's how this sets up for the most part. What this is a scrubby holder for the side of your sink in your kitchen. And what I did with that is I put bamboo plants in there and gravel, and that allows that to filter my aquarium on that. So that's a pretty neat little thing I came up with as well. This is Kino, and she goes crazy when she gets food. She just goes on a nut like a dog when you get home from work. But that's her just flipping around. She just goes crazy. Then one thing about these turtles is they're really fast, and they're an open water species of a turtle. I've never seen a turtle in my life that is this fast. So that's why these turtles need a lot of room to maneuver around and to be able to do this type of a thing. See how crazy she is? Imagine this turtle in a 10-gallon tank. That's ridiculous. That's like a prison sentence for a turtle like this. Something that's really active. That's a 55-gallon tank. And then this food tray idea opens that up and makes for a lot of extra room, usable space for your turtle. So she has that to be able to move around freely, and that's about just 1.5 inches of water there, so she can be submerged while she feeds. But it makes a nice tray for them to be able to move around and stuff like that. And I think that's a big deal where she has her own space in the aquarium, so that she's not eating fish and getting all over the place and doing that kind of a stuff. But this also, with the basking light here and everything, makes it a couple degrees warmer than the aquarium as well, so they can bask and digest their food. And a lot of times she'll bury herself as well, especially after she's eaten. She'll submerge herself in the sand for a couple hours. And this food tray is fun because what she'll do is be completely buried in the sand and whatnot, and just a little bit of the snorkel part of her nose will be the only thing sticking out. And you can hardly even find this turtle after she's been buried and stuff. The coloration blends in with the natural sand, and it does a pretty natural habitat for these turtles. So I think it's a pretty good setup, because everything I saw online, they had pedestals and bricks and things like that, and that can really scratch or damage your aquarium. If that brick fell over or whatever, you're going to crack your glass. This food tray is just a poly plastic, so you're not going to scratch your glass with it. You're not going to scratch it, you're not going to break anything. So it's super lightweight, and then these hangers allow you to have some pretty significant weight for your turtles. So I've probably got 2 or 3 pounds of sand in here, and it's never been any kind of an issue. So it's been kind of neat, and I wanted to share that because a lot of different websites and things like that, the only thing that I could find online were the pedestal type of basking bay or pedestal style thing as a tray for soft shell turtles. A lot of the other videos, the people had them set pretty deep, and one thing in nature with these soft shell turtles is they like to bury themselves and stretch their neck out, but only a couple 3 inches of water. Some of these people had 10, 12, 14 inches of water, so every time the soft shell needed to breathe, they had to get up and unbury themselves, swim all the way to the surface, gulp some air, and then swim back down to the bottom. So what this food tray idea does is allows them to, bask, be in the sand, do all of that stuff while only being in a couple inches of water. So I thought that was a pretty neat idea. Another thing that I did along with this, so that you guys can check this out, is that I made a diagram of this setup for how I made this. So what I did was take just a regular average coat hanger, and then took the coat hanger with some heavy pliers and cut the wire of the coat hanger. So what that does is, you can see how it lays along the edge of the side tray and then hooks to the side of the aquarium. So it took me a while to come up with this idea and perfect it and get it right. You see in the middle there it says 3 to 4 inches. What that does is allows the back end of your food pan to be deeper in the water, so that your turtles can move in and out a lot easier. So there's about 2 inches there where she can move back and forth between the aquarium itself and that food tray. The other thing that's cool about it too is, you see here, the fish move in and out of it as well. So the turtles are pretty dirty feeders. They're always leaving particles and pieces of their meal laying around. And as soon as they're finished, my fish have figured out that that's a good time for them to feed. So as soon as the turtles are done, you see that the fish hop right up into that food pan as well. And for whatever reason, I'm not sure why, but Kino on the right there and Speedy, both of them, neither one of these turtles for some reason eat fish. I think it's because they're well fed, they don't have to really forage for food as much. But I've read a lot of different things online about soft-shelled turtles and how they don't get along with other turtle species. She has no problem at all hanging out with a map turtle. That's Speedy there. And I think it's because they're two different species. They don't bother each other. They get along really well. The other thing too that I was careful with in this aquarium setup was what species of fish I put in here. So I have a plecto in there. I got this strange catfish that always hangs upside down. So he's kind of a weird dude. A lot of times he'll be upside down under that food tray, and that's Speedy there. But the neat thing about having a soft shell and a map turtle is that they inhabit two different parts of the aquarium. Speedy spends a lot of his time on the bottom of the aquarium, cruising around and doing stuff. He's pretty lazy and he walks along the bottom and inspects everything, and he feeds differently than Kino as well. You see he's got like more of a lazy atmosphere to him, where he just kind of chills around and goes through things. So what makes that neat is you've got two very different, very distinctive turtles. You've got a map turtle that's slow and relaxed and calm along the bottom. And then you have Kino, the soft-shelled turtle, who's super, very, very active. So she snoops along, she's getting into the gravel, she's looking at things, sniffing around, and does that sort of thing. So it makes for a pretty neat experience to have two very, very different turtles. So that's something that I've really enjoyed with this, because you can have two types of turtles that are not bothering each other the whole time, and they get along really, really well. So I wanted to share that because I had not seen anywhere online where anyone was hanging a food tray or something like that. I liked it because it wouldn't crack or scratch or do anything with your aquarium, and it also made it quite a bit better so that you can have a lot of things going on at one given time. You can have the aquarium where they're swimming and doing their thing, and have an area where they can get out of the water and be completely dry and do that sort of thing, which makes it really nice, because these turtles, they have to have time to bask, they have to have time to get out of the water so that their skin can dry out. Takes care of any issues with fungus, any shell rot, that kind of stuff. Just makes for a really neat setup that gives these soft shell turtles ample room to move around. You see how active they are. Be like a prison sentence putting that turtle in a 10-gallon tank with no room. These turtles are made to be active, made to move around a lot. So they don't have anything in the aquarium that they're hitting against or anything like that, because they can injure themselves pretty easily if you have anything in your aquarium under any circumstance that's sharp. Any rocks that are sharp, anything like that. You don't want that in an aquarium with a soft shell. They don't have, a bony shell structure like a map turtle or painted turtle or eastern slider. these turtles have a really soft shell. So you can see that underbelly there, that's super sensitive. So these turtles have to have very clean water, and you can't have anything in the aquarium that's very, very sharp, because they can injure themselves from it. But I thought the food tray was pretty unique because it allows you to have basically two different types of enclosures in one setup. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed that. That's Kino and that's Speedy in there somewhere down on the bottom. But we enjoyed sharing this with you guys, and hopefully it'll make a happier, healthier turtle setup for you guys as well at home. So thanks for checking it out. Give us a like, and we'll talk to you guys later.